And we're back! So soon! You didn't expect that now, did you? I thought, in addition to looking at anime games, which surprisingly do not suck, it might also be worth looking at some of the more interesting and eclectic games from my collection. So, to kick things off, I thought we'd have a look at Castlevania Chronicles, the Castlevania game for the PlayStation, which is surprisingly not Symphony of the Night, and also appears to feature that label I could never quite get off the case. But never mind. Long-term fans of the series out there may already be detecting the hand of Ayami Kojima in the artwork, which, nicely executed as always, but I don't know, it's not my favourite style of illustration. I mean, I think that it just reminds me too much of the people I see walking through Glasgow on a Friday night. But never mind. There's the man himself, Big Glad, and there's the disc. The nice thing about the manual... Oh, there's Simon again. Miserable pile of secrets that he is. And the nice thing about the manual for this one is you actually get a little reprint of some of the artwork from Symphony of the Night tucked away at the back. Yep, there we go. Quite like Maria. And yep. Certainly, I think this is reprinted from the little art book that came with Symphony of the Night in its special edition form. You also got a CD soundtrack along with that as well, although I would say if you want to go out and buy the special edition of Symphony of the Night now, do you have both kidneys? Because you might not afterwards. But never mind, we'll not dwell on that. Let's have a look at the game! Okay. In fact, I think I'm actually just going to skip the little CGI intro for this, purely on the grounds that it's really not that interesting. Right, let's crack on. Name entry. Perhaps if I had prepared a save file earlier on today, I could have avoided this, but never mind. Right. Okay, this time, okay, back on. Yes. Attacking the castle with your whip, always a good plan. Now, straight off, you may be thinking, this looks mightily familiar. And you would be right, because this game is actually a remake of the very first Castlevania game, originally for the Sharp X68000, which is a Japanese home computer which I've only ever seen thanks to YouTube. This version of the game has been again updated for the PlayStation. This arrange mode partly makes the game slightly easier, although I can't say I really noticed. I think maybe you take less damage from the enemies, but again, not that big a difference. Other than that, main changes are the soundtrack, which you may have noticed the rather appalling remix of Vampire Killer going on in the background. You don't have to suffer that if you play in original mode, but once you get past the first level, the remix music isn't so bad. Just take that back there. Now, unfortunately, to make the game playable on my monitor, I've had to turn my gamma settings up to a level I can only describe as disgusting, so if the colours don't look quite right, I can only apologise. Ooh, there's a bit of slowdown. Oh. Nice kitty. So, yeah, other main changes from the Sharp X68K version of the game. The sprite for Simon has been redrawn, probably to bring it kind of more in line with the Ayami Kojima interpretation, hence the long flowing pink hair? Who knows? I don't know. I always feel there should be something hidden in this painting, I don't know why. I will have that, if I can make it. Ah, there we go. Hey. Nice zombie. So if you've lived this number of years without ever playing a Castlevania game before, you attack mainly with your whip, the main weapon. And attack sort of down the way, down diagonally, and straight forwards. And of course you've also got your sub-weapon. I've got the little knives at the moment, which you throw in exchange for these hearts that I keep collecting. Why it takes hearts to power your throwing weapons, I've never quite worked that one out. You know, money, I can maybe understand, but hearts, I don't know. Anyway, if you've played Symphony of the Night before, you know, or indeed any of the later sort of Metroidvania style Castlevania games, the main thing you'll probably notice is how much more sluggish Simon feels than Alucard or any of them other dudes did. He moves quite slowly, he can't run, he can't double jump, kind of all around you feel a lot more vulnerable than you do in many of the newer games. I mean, the whip is still a perfectly powerful attack, but, oh, that's bad. I'm now going to be attacked by, was it the Flea Man? I don't know what those guys were called. Can't even remember. Yes, down the stairs, that's a good plan. Yeah. Also, if you played the NES version of Castlevania, you may note the change in level design is quite significant here. I don't think the Mermen were in the NES version of the game. I haven't played it recently, I can't really remember. Is there something hidden over here? I can't remember. Possibly not. Either that or I've missed it. Cobblers. Right. Here we go. I think the game is slowing down a bit. I'm not totally sure. Possibly the music is in fact meant to sound like that. Axes, much better. As I run into certain doom. Should probably stop hacking these guys and just get on with it. Right. What's the stopwatch weapon there? But never mind. It's not that useful here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this. Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure this is different from the NES version. Which, incidentally, I should probably mention that Mike is having a playthrough of the NES version of the game at the moment, which is probably the main reason I chose to play this one first, as I thought it would annoy him. Sorry, Mike. You know we is bros. Yeah, it's just how I roll. I'm sure the music isn't supposed to sound like that. I mean, seriously, come on. I've had some pretty awful versions of the Vampire Killer in my time, really. There was nothing worthwhile in that candle, trust me. But yeah, the Sharp X68000, the original home for this game, I think it originally was released in the late 1980s, but this game was a bit later on than that. This was 1993 this game came out originally. The thing that surprised me is that by that time this was already after the SNES version, Super Castlevania or Castlevania 4. Which certainly, I don't know, could probably have contributed a lot to the look of the game. The graphics, I would say, are certainly on a par with that, if not maybe slightly better. Just wish I could say the gameplay was a bit faster. Oh, axes. Much better. Also worth noting that it's well worth hanging onto the axes here, as it makes the boss fight a lot quicker. Of course, no doubt someone out there is going to tell me you should only ever fight the bosses with the whip, in the same way that you should only ever fight the bosses in Mega Man with the Mega Buster. What's it called, the Mega Buster? I don't even remember. Ah! Get away, foul fiend of the night. Why can't I run? Oh god. I mean, seriously, if a great big cloud of bats was coming towards you, wouldn't you want to run away? Surely, surely. That wasn't working out too well. Right. I'm not saying as much in this playthrough as I was with the Ghost in the Shell, then I can only apologise. It's because I'm having to concentrate a lot harder. There we go. Yeah, I'll castle your Vania. Sorry, I don't even know what that means. So there you go. I mean, that's pretty much what you can expect from the game. It is very much a traditional Castlevania. You know, if you've only ever played the Metroidvania titles, be prepared for a shock, as this game is really quite solid. It's a good challenge, though. I mean, it's it's the sort of game where most of the time if you die, you know it's kind of your own fault, but I don't know, it can be a little bit frustrating because there are a lot of kind of very fine sort of pixel perfect jumps involved in the game. You know, the weapon system sometimes feels like it could have been a bit more forgiving, I guess. But yeah, I mean it's a very solid game. It will last you a long while, assuming you've not kind of mastered the NES version and now can test it with your eyes closed. Hello, Mike. So there you go. That was Castlevania Chronicles. It's probably one for existing fans of the series more than anything else. I think if this is your first introduction to playing Castlevania, you might just find this a bit too merciless and unforgiving. But yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the series, especially if you like the pre-Metroidvania titles, this is probably well worth seeking out, especially if you can see it at a good price.